a lot of people think that meditating is a completely new thing now that we've come to a different era. Because before it was like doing something and like really making yourself. As in now all the energy is support us being present to ourselves. So it's much more like just letting go and surrendering, and then everything will happen. Like I said, I've been kind of just, although there hasn't been much time yet, but try to bring glimpses of different things that might resonate with you, so you can have the experience of what you might want to do. For example, at the beginning of the yoga class and at the end of the yoga class, because there's always like this going within, even though it's not really long. Because we were so much in our minds before, now it's becoming easier for us to be in the heart and to be present. So for centuries and centuries, meditation has been something that people had to really work hard on, because we were so controlled from here. And now it's actually started already. I mean, we're coming to the golden age, and people are becoming more and more conscious all the time. and we're reaching like the golden era, they say, where people are conscious of how they feel and how they treat each other and what they do to the planet and all that. And the ego is kind of, not willingly, but has to take a step back. So meditation as well has changed in a way. It's much more just letting go and being present. And when you start meditating regularly, it becomes very easy in a way. You can do it with your eyes open. You can do it while you're doing some everyday course. And like the walking meditation, for example, when you do it the first time, you keep thinking that there's so many things to think about and be concentrating on and everything. But if you do it every now and then, it becomes very automatic. The only thing you need to do while you're walking somewhere is to actually become present, aware of how you feel and what's happening outside of yourself. So you can actually start deciding, if you're not in a hurry and you're walking somewhere, that, I'm not going to think about anything until I get there. And then if you realize you think about something, you just let it go. And just be fully open. Maybe that's 5 minutes or 2 minutes in the beginning or something like that. So in a way, meditation is just being within, but you can at the same time be present to your surroundings in its most simple form. And spiritual-wise, what they say is that meditation is just listening to what is. It's not anything specific. So in a way, they say that brain is talking to God. It's asking something from the God, and meditation is listening for the answer. And for example, if you start doing guided meditations a lot, you actually start to channel. So in a way, if you completely relax and let go of your mind, things start to come through you, so you don't have to think about it so hard. I don't know what I'm going to say, is this going to sound good? You just relax and surrender, and whatever somebody needs in the room will come through you. And it's really amazing. But if you start doing guided meditations, of course it's good to do scripts in the beginning, because it's actually really scary to not know what you're going to say in front of lots of people. So just to get more comfortable and to get more confidence, you can decide a subject, or you can start with kind of guided relaxations where you go through the body and then you think about something really nice and relaxing that could have body sensations, like, take the people to the beach and guide them to feel the sand under their feet and how warm it is and how the structure feels like, and how the wind feels on their skin and in their hair and the sun. So guide them use all their senses, because they will actually feel everything we say. and that is very relaxing, and that is something that everyone has experienced. So it's very easy for you to write a script about that, and it's very easy for the people that are listening to it to render to those feelings because they're familiar. And then once when you're getting comfortable with, you know, something, this is not like the beginning of the yoga class kind of meditation, but if you get into meditation and you want to start having classes, because most yoga schools, they also have, at least in Finland, like pure meditation classes as well. And the more and more there's people that want to attend guided meditation sessions all over the world, you can expand, you know, what the script will be about. And be authentic. Don't think about a subject that you haven't actually really gone through yourself. Because if you have that experience, then you'll be able to take everyone who's in the room with you because you're holding the energy of the experience. So, and it's the energy that will take people on the rise, so to speak. Then there's different techniques to shut off some senses, so it's easier for you to go within. So, like in most meditations, you keep your eyes closed so you don't see the surroundings. But like I said, when the meditation starts to feel more and more natural, it's completely natural to meditate with your eyes open. Then there's this technique that we haven't tried yet, but we'll go next week, where you just close all your what do you call them? All
sense organs.
Yeah. So like you put your thumbs to your ears, and then you close your eyes. You close your ears, and you close your mouth.
Neat.
So you don't get anything from outside. And then you can also use your senses, like. You can do this yourself, and we're going to try this next week. We go back to Ghana, and then you actually concentrate on your hearing, and you pick different things one at a time and listen to that, because there's many different noises coming at the same time. So you just pick one, and then you shut everything else out, and then you change that. So that will kind of develop your concentration a lot. Then there's all these techniques to focus your eyes on something, so you don't shut your eyes, but you don't look around in any way. So we had that candle meditation, and then we were looking at the river as well. And all elements are really good to look at, you know, fire, air, earth, water. So they all have natural movement as well, which kind of draws you in. And then what really helps, especially in the beginning, is some kind of really low background music, if you want to use that. Something that, because there are actually lots of meditation tracks that you can find from the internet that are, I'm not sure how they make it. It's very slow, of course, the music. Very relaxing and soothing and makes you feel safe and all that. But there are some tracks which have they've been done in some kind of sound laboratory, and they actually like automatically change your brain waves. So you go from the normal brainwave into beta brainwave, which automatically kind of, you don't have to do anything, but they slow down your body organs and they clear your mind, and it's very easy to just be with those music. So if you Google those, then there's lots of stuff, some free and some you have to pay for, but not too much.
Do you know what it's called? Or what we'd Google?
You can try brainwave music or just meditation music, and then just read what it says about it. Yeah.
Du sin bladläggare.
Yeah. I use one of those in my healings and it's really good.
It's really good.
Yeah. It's like everyone is just like, even myself, I'm doing it. It's seriously, you just put it on and you're there.
You feel also learn hypnotism?
Yeah, it's kind of like the
healing technique.
Yeah. Yeah, it's basically what also happens in guided meditations because first you talk the person into completely relaxation, which is what happens in every yoga class, you know. You go through all your body parts.
Yes.
And it's very important, you have to practice how to speak because it's very important that you're relaxed and loving yourself because that will come through your voice. If you're like, relax your legs now, it's kind of like, you know, even if they're going harsh, yeah, every time you open your mouth, they're kind of like coming out of there. Yeah. Because it's good to be loving and soothing towards yourself. It's really good to start to talk to yourself, maybe when you're going to sleep. It will also help you to get that experience of getting into meditation more and more easily. So you can just start talking to yourself and ask yourself to become present. Just voice everything that you're thinking. And then talk your body thoroughly. Start from the feet, because the mind is first, it's quite active when you start doing it, and it might resist. But when you go through the whole body first and you come to the head area last, you know, it's already relaxed because the body is relaxed. Mind and body are always connected. So if your body is really relaxed, then it's so much easier for your mind to relax. If your mind is relaxed, it's easier for the body to relax. So they're always connected. And then the forcing part never ever works, as you know.
So forcing?
Forcing. So if you try not to think about anything, it doesn't really work. So be very accepting. This is when you practice it on yourself. Be very accepting, don't judge anything. And also when you guide other people, keep saying, you know, just notice without judging, and there's no good and bad, just be aware. Because we can control our mind pretty much as we can control our circulation system. So if you try to force it into something, you know, there's a lot of theories, for example, that you can only think about positive. And, you know, there are days when you feel really crappy, and if you don't go through that, you just keep telling yourself, oh, everything is fine, everything is good, everything is fine. The whole being is like that. That's a lie, you know, it's not. And you can't force yourself into feeling anything. But you can introduce things that will start doing something in your body. So if you start to think about something that makes you feel really, really good, and then that gradually grows, there's less space for the negative. But if you start from, I can't think this, it doesn't go away, it only grows and becomes more intense. So if you're being non-judgmental, it helps also integrating into the meditative state, because otherwise you're just going to start thinking that I can't think, and oh my god, now I'm doing this, and you don't stay in the relaxation part.
Do you have any like pointers on like tone specifically, like sort of, like tone?
Yeah. The thing is that it becomes quite naturally if you relax yourself first and you go into your heart and then you clear everything else out. What comes out is this. It's quite soothing. It creates a sense of safety and it's relaxing. I'm aware that in the beginning when you start doing it, you're a bit nervous. And yes, and therefore the voice, yeah, will react to that. The voice always tells how you feel. So just, I don't know, in a way it's like acting, you know, which is not faking, it's being the most authentic you can. And in like professional training they say if you don't feel you're saying the absolute truth, don't say it yet. Wait until it feels that it comes from the right place. And also, yeah, this is a good point. In the beginning, it will feel like, you know, it's so slow and everyone's getting bored. You have to keep on saying things, otherwise they're going to walk out, you know. But it doesn't feel like that when you're in the relaxed meditative state. So just allow your ego to go through all that and to say something now. And just accept that the ego is feeling like that, and give yourself a permission to wait for the next sentence until you feel relaxed again. So, but the most important point about the voice is like, have your own awareness in your heart center, and then you don't have to try so much of anything, because the heart has a certain quality, and it's very soothing and relaxing, the voice when it comes from there. Also, when you're in your heart, you feel very strongly when to say something and when to say, even if you have a script, you might get this urge that, oh, I need to say this. And then it's so amazing when people start giving you feedback and they're like, oh, when you said that really made me go da-da-da. And that's like exactly what just came through you without you planning it. Because then you're kind of like channeling, you know, somebody needs to hear something and then you're giving the flow and it just comes through you. So don't judge too much of what comes into your mind while you're doing the guiding. But the first few times when you're doing it, you can just pick a technique so that you get the experience of doing it, but you're not completely on your own. But yeah, then there's always kind of sound meditations, and there's lots of YouTube stuff about that, and lots of MP3s in the internet. If you Google sound meditations, there's all these singing bowls and different instruments.
Yeah, I actually have like a bunch of meditations on my iPod. One of them's like a chakra. There's like 7 chakra meditations, and they're all like bells and like people. It's like kind of eerie at first. But it's very relaxing.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do with that. I don't know. It has specific.
No, it doesn't have those.
Oh, okay.
It's like bowls and bells.
Oh, okay.
At sometimes like in a few of them in like the 5-minute mark, they're like 7, 8 minutes long. There's like
Oh my god. It's like the teacher.
Yeah. The gong, especially with the huge sound, really goes into you, and it might feel really uncomfortable first.
Yeah. Like the first time I listened to it, I was like, oh my god. I just got scared.
What do you think is for you personally, is like the hardest part of the meditation? Is there like one aspect of it that you're struggling with?
We did it once, and in that one time, I definitely felt like, oh God, this is the most boring thing ever. I'm talking so slow. Like I felt like I should talk more. I should breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. So that was really hard for me.
So you've done like a guided meditation?
No. We just had to lead a few days ago. We had to lead a chakra meditation.
Yeah. Okay.
And and plus I don't know chakras well enough to be like feeling it. So I didn't feel comfortable like, okay, now we're at the root chakra. And I'm like, what else do I say about the root chakra? So it felt like awkward for me to do that.
All right.
Yeah.
So you were just guiding the attention to each chakra at the time, and then just being there for some time. Okay.
For me, it's like still the posture, like sitting for a while. But it's like I'm like can kind of get in the zone, but then after 20 minutes, my legs are like, and then I can start paying attention to my body. I guess it comes with practice.
But you haven't used anything here to be kind of
Raising.
lying properly, so that because then your body doesn't fight back if it's properly aligned. Because the thing is that it is almost impossible, even if you can get your legs to the ground, it's almost impossible to have the proper curve in your spine if you're sitting here. Then when you raise yourself, because we don't sit, stand like that, so it's like straight. There's a curve when it's straight. So you should have that same curve actually while sitting, and then it's not hard on your muscles and stuff. So in a way you take your buttocks back and then your shoulders back and there's the curve that you always have. Even when you're sleeping, you have a curve when you're standing. Yeah, that's actually really good because you're not letting your legs are not in the air because that's very tiring too. Some people they keep their legs like that, and then you have to be using the muscles here to keep them up because the gravity wants to pull them down. So you have your legs against the floor, and then nothing moves. When you can do it to me, and actually sitting like that helps you keep your awareness in your heart anyway, because it's kind of been all over the place.
I think for me, something hard is like when we were doing guided meditation, I felt like, but I don't, maybe it's okay. I felt like I was like, I was only hearing your voice for so long, and then I wasn't asleep, but I just heard like, I'm not really hearing anything.
Oh really?
Yeah, and so I'm just kind of like laying there and empty. But I don't think I'm asleep or anything. I just hear you, but I'm not really hearing all the words. Like afterwards, one time you were like, oh yeah, how was the, I don't know, you mentioned it. How was something? And I was like, I did not even recall that. And like it wasn't even in my brain that I experienced it. So it wasn't, I didn't feel like it went into my subconscious. So then I was kind of...
Yeah, but that's actually a good thing.
Okay.
Because then you've gone really deep. And your conscious mind is not your unconscious mind. So basically, what's in your unconscious mind, it's weird, but in a way your conscious mind doesn't know what's in your unconscious mind unless you go really deep and let it surface. And that's why a lot of people that have had like huge traumas, they don't remember them. They have no recollection, but it's there, present every moment, coloring everything that you do and experience and think and everything. They don't remember any of it. So, also it's quite often when you lie actually, that it's easier for you to go into deep relaxation when you're lying. But then, you go maybe deeper than it's good for the exercise. But in a way, the driving force behind everything we've done is to get you to experience the deep state, not so much to do therapy and the meditation or anything like that. So in a way, well done.
Okay.
But how do you experience kind of keeping your mind still? Is that easy or hard, or it fluctuates? Yeah.
When I the beginning of this trip, when we stayed at an ashram in Bali, and they did some meditations that were like they played music, mantras. And at the beginning I was like, oh my god, I'm doing it right, oh my god, I don't know if I'm doing it right, how should I sit? And it was just very awkward. So now it's a little better, but I accept my mind will wander now, but it's still like, when it wanders, I pull it back very abruptly still.
Okay.
So it's not like,
Yeah, I hear a bit of judgment there.
yeah.
Yeah, and that is really good thing to practice in meditation, because then automatically it will start applying in life. You'll be less judgmental towards yourself, which, will make you less make you limit yourself less. Because the judging part of yourself is like, oh, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You will fail, and then everyone will. Okay, I won't do that. So just kind of notice when the mind is somewhere and do nothing else. Because if you notice it's going somewhere, then it automatically comes back. So non-judgmental is the key. But it's completely normal that the mind wanders. With some people, the more you meditate, the less it wanders, but it will still wander.
I want to write down your mind. Trying to control I forgot that. Trying to control your mind. Control your situation.
I don't know if you've heard of Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah, I was gonna say
She read that.
that book changed my life a couple years ago.
Okay.
So since then, meditation or different things like that have become just a lot easier.
Okay. So you read the Power of Now.
Mm.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, you read it a couple of years ago, so you probably remember better. I don't remember much of what he says, but the memory that I have of the book is that the whole book is just about observe, nothing else, because once when you realize what you're thinking, the whole thinking loses its power and control and everything. So the same thing in meditation, if you just observe where your mind wanders to, then it will come back automatically, but it's kind of being caught in action.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we keep talking about it during this trip. Okay, that's like this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely like that. Once you recognize that you are not your mind, then it loses so much power. And then you get to observe it, but learn from it and grow from it and see, I think of my mind now as just a silly little girl that's in my head. They're so silly. Why are you thinking these things? You're so funny.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah, this is not really part of meditation, but when you start being aware of your mind, it's really good to start asking questions from it. Sometimes when I have really dark thoughts, I just keep asking questions. I'm like, where are these coming from, and what are you trying to tell me with this? It's like, it's not me, it's someone else. And then when you start asking questions, you will get answers. It's then you really start evolving so quickly. Because whatever happens in your life, if you keep staying present, asking questions, you will get amazing answers. And it's always something about yourself, If there's a situation where you don't understand why it's happening on the earthly level, but you stay present knowing that it's trying to tell you something, and you keep asking questions from your mind and your thoughts. And, I use the word your higher self, because that's it's your soul creating all these situations for you to see more clearly this part of yourself and how you behave towards yourself in these circumstances. And because we're so blind to ourselves, the soul or the subconscious or whatever you want to call it, it's creating these situations where you can see that same thing in someone else. And then you realize, oh my God, I was doing that a couple of years ago in that situation. Yeah. And then you just kind of forgive yourself and accept it that, you have that part of yourself. And when you become aware of that, then it doesn't drive you anymore. Just like your thoughts, when you become aware of them, they don't drive you as much. So just out of curiosity, when you did the chakra meditation, how long did it take altogether? Because you mentioned that you felt like it was so boring and forever. And
We each had 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Yeah.
And you went through all the 7 chakras? Oh, wow. I don't think that was long at all.
Yeah. Hers is good. She's
When I was talking, it felt really awkward. Yeah.
yeah, it felt good.
Okay.
Did you get feedback? Was there someone who experienced what you were talking?
Just Randy and the teacher.
Oh.
Yeah. But I didn't do like all the things that we were taught, so it wasn't like the same. I was more like talking from my heart type thing, like, yeah, this is like your heart, and this is feel where like things that are like in your throat, feel like what you've been holding back, and I was just like talking more. So I think it wasn't the same as how he teaches, because he wasn't teaching like let's go free flow thought. So to see that as like, I liked hearing your thoughts. It was good, but it wasn't like maybe what I was supposed to do.
But I think, all those things that you mentioned now, I think they're great, because most people don't know that much about chakras. They know what they are. Most people know 7 chakras, and maybe their names and their colors. But then if you say stuff like, in your throat chakra you hold all these things that you wanted to say but you haven't. And most people have it blocked. And most people don't speak their truth in all situations, and then, afterwards they're like, oh, I should just say that. It's all there. But when you mention that, the awareness goes there, and it helps to release all those blocks. And also, like 2nd chakra, most people have it blocked in one way or another, because they don't have enough joy in their life, and they feel guilty, like different pleasures, because we've been thought that, all kinds of pleasure is in a way a bit bad, even eating something really good. It's bad for you, there's so many calories in it, It's like completely blocked, because we keep telling ourselves that we don't deserve to feel pleasure of any kind.
Yeah, you could go through all of them actually,
I
because
actually don't know.
we don't know too much. The only ones I know is throat, is like what you've been holding in, and for heart, it just feels like heart.
Okay, let's do this later. So we'll go through the chakras now.
That'd be awesome.
So the root chakra,